Well, let's talk about the legend first, the dad, Bruce Lee. Now, Bruce would be born in San Francisco, but then taken to Hong Kong and raised. And at an early age, he would learn about the entertainment industry from his father. His father was an opera singer and a part-time actor. And it was in Hong Kong at an early age that Bruce would often get picked for movies, but he would always be portrayed as a street urchin or, a thief, a criminal, juvenile delinquent kind of. Then when Bruce was a teenager, he kind of got in with some local gangs. And it was there that he learned Kung Fu to kind of better defend himself. Because, let's face it, when you're in a street gang like that, you got to know how to defend yourself, right? At the same time that he was learning Kung Fu, he also took dance lessons. Now, the reason he did this was to help with his footwork and his balance with his Kung Fu. Now, his parents didn't really like him getting in run-ins with the law or the gang that he was running with, getting in fights all the time. So just after his 18th birthday, they sent him to America to live with some family and friends. And it was in Seattle where he would open up his first dojo teaching Kung Fu. And then around 1964, he would move down to Oakland to open up a second dojo, and it's there that he would come up with his own style that the world knows today as Jeet Kune Do, and hopefully I pronounced that right. And he would teach that instead of normal martial arts. So one day, Bruce goes to Los Angeles to an area karate tournament, and it's there he's putting on a Kung Fu demonstration. And this was catching the eye of a producer. And this producer ends up casting Bruce in a TV show. This show would only run for about a year, 66 to 67. But he was cast as the sidekick Kato in what I'm sure a lot of people know as the show The Green Hornet. Bruce would love acting, but he kind of after that would find it hard to find jobs outside of like being picked to shoot a scene where he's just demolishing a room or tearing stuff up doing karate. So he moves back to Hong Kong where he actually finds really good success doing 2 movies that just blew the box office away in Asia. So after his success in China with his box office blowouts, he would find success in the United States. In 1971's Fist of Fury, in 1972's The Chinese Connection. Now, he would use his newfound purpose, I guess, or his sense of acting in America to open up his own production company. And it's there that he would actually co-produce, direct, write, and star in his next movie in 1972, Return of the Dragon. So Bruce has got all this success, right? And which would lead to probably his most famous movie of all time. And it would be the first ever joint production between Hong Kong and the United States. And that was 1973's Enter the Dragon. Now, that movie alone would skyrocket Bruce Lee to international stardom and fame. Everything that he had been kind of looking for as far as his acting roles. But sadly, just a few days before the movie was to release in Hong Kong, Bruce would pass away and not really get to see his hard work, the fruits of his labor, pay off like he wanted to.
Bruce also leaving an unfinished film when he died on July 20th, 1973.
Speculation around Bruce Lee's death has kind of been one of lore, conspiracy theories, right? Why did he die? Was he cursed? Was his family cursed?
Bruce Lee murdered for giving Eastern martial arts secrets to the West, or taken out by a rival movie studio. And then that enduring curse talk.
Who knows? Maybe that was part of it. But we do know that the real culprit behind Bruce Lee's death was swelling of the brain from headache medication, swelling of the brain from aspirin.
Bruce had a hypersensitive reaction to a pain medication, and it caused a cerebral edema, a swelling that pressed on the brain.
That kind of, in its own way, could be seen as being cursed. I mean, because as much top physical condition that Bruce Lee was in, I mean, he never showed signs of sickness. He was peak performance. I mean, in his philosophy and his mind and his body, his strength. To find out that or to not even know that you're allergic to aspirin. Maybe it's because he never had to take one before then. Who knows? Or maybe his family really is cursed. Let me know what you think. Now on to his son, Brandon Lee. Renee gonna tell you about that though.
Brandon Lee was just 8 years old when his father, Bruce, passed away. I struggled a lot growing up and coping with having a father that was basically a martial arts star. He moved around a lot, dropped out of school several times, but eventually did finish and go on to college. And his intentions were to major in drama, and that's when he realized his true passion for acting. Now, he tried to stay away from martial arts movies for as long as possible, but eventually gave in 1986 and did a movie called Legacy of Rage. Now, he would go on after that to do several more movies until he got the one that a lot of us know him for, a role by the name of Eric Draven in a movie called The Crow. I remember whenever I first saw The Crow, I was in middle school. And
Wow, that was a long time ago.
yeah, it's back when the wheel was square. I'm going to go ahead and admit I had the biggest crush on Eric Draven. I mean, yeah, I not trying to be disrespectful to the dead, but he's majorly smoking hot.
He's a good-looking guy. Good-looking guy.
I think back then probably every girl wanted an Eric Draven and every boy wanted to be him, including Sting from wrestling, because it wasn't too long after that Sting started adapting to the face paint and hiding in the rafters and stuff.
I remember whenever he first did that in WCW, his very first time painting his face and doing that whole persona was actually painted exactly like Brandon Lee's from The Crow. I mean, it was like the exact same lineage under the eyes and everything. And I guess, I don't know if somebody said something to him about it or something, but that was like the only time he did it. Like after that, from then on out, he kind of started adding his own, like, you know, tweak to it. But you can tell, I mean,
It was supposed to be
it was
Crow.
homage. I mean, he had the long hair, the white paint, he had the freaking long leather jacket, and
We know what you was doing. You was a fan too, Sting.
Because I want to say even whenever he first started doing it, right there towards the beginning, I remember him being like, it was one of them shots where they're like, oh, Sting's in the rafters, and you look up there, but instead of having a crow, he had a vulture sitting on his arm instead of like a crow, I guess, you know, copyright or whatever, but Yeah, I even had the long black trench coat, 14 years old, motorcycle license, had the long black trench coat riding around.
Did you ride around saying it can't rain all the time?
Yeah.
Even though in Alabama, it's just, maybe you were like, can't be humid all the time.
Yeah.
And it is kind of fitting that we're here they're buried here because there's crows all over the place. You can hear them.
There's several in that bush, and there's one just walk behind that bush over there.
Getting all three of them.
Hey, good job.
So let's actually talk about The Crow. A lot of people say that The Crow itself, the movie, the film, was cursed. And it's because so many bad things happened during the filming of that movie.
Some people said, yeah, it's the curse of the crow, and we should have stopped when stuff started happening, because we did. We've had stuntmen get, break a rib, or a photo double for another character broke his leg, and they're going, oh, there it is.
You had a worker drive his car into a set, a storm destroy exterior sets, a carpenter get burns. But the most tragic thing that happened was the prop master would keep live bullets in his car, and when they ran out of the blanks, he would go out and he would take these live bullets and make them blanks. Well, a lead tip was left into the barrel of a gun used for a scene with Brandon Lee, and unfortunately it didn't get checked again. So when it was used in the scene, it went into Brandon Lee's abdomen and ended up by his spine.
Pulled up Brandon's shirt and I saw the wound. It was just an open wound, but you could see the blood pooling behind it. And he was pale. He was really pale. And just barely a whimper coming out of him.
Now they thought he was just lying there, from the scene. But when he didn't get up, they rushed him to the hospital. The doctor tried to stop the bleeding and repair the damages, but ultimately it wouldn't work, and Brandon Lee would pass away.
He was supposed to drop to his knees and fall forward, so his face was towards the camera. He was lying with his head against the door and his feet facing towards the camera. When Brandon didn't get up, everyone was stunned.
Now the incident was looked into and it was ruled an accident.
Here we are, Bruce and Brandon. I see Bruce has got his picture, founder of Jeet Kune Do. And on the book down here, your inspiration continues to guide us toward our personal liberation. And then Brandon's looking like a really nice dark stone. I like his. I wish they would have put his picture right here though, like they did Bruce. Brandon Lee, March 31, 1993. I'm gonna try to read his. Some of the white on the lettering is gone. But it says, because we don't know when we will die, we get to think of life as an exhaustible well. Yet everything happens a certain number of times, and a very small number of really. How many more times will you remember a certain afternoon of your childhood, some afternoon that's so deeply a part of your being that you can't even conceive of your life without it? Perhaps 4 or 5 times more. Perhaps not even that. How many more times will you watch the full moon rise? Perhaps 20, and yet it seems limitless. For Brandon and Eliza, ever joined in true love's beauty. Hard to read without the letter in there.
If you choose to visit Brewster Brandon Lee's grave. Just know that it is an extremely popular grave site. I actually read, I think that it was top 10 in the country to visit, and we can tell.
Yeah.
Like literally out of every grave I think we've ever visited, this has been the hardest to get a shot or a moment alone.
Yeah. Well, that does it for Bruce and Brandon Lee. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're ever in the area, definitely come by and check their resting places out. It's pretty cool. Special shout out to our VIP Road Warrior patron, the Crypt Lady. Thanks for helping us out each month. If you'd like to be a supporter, also head over to Patreon, Exit to Adventure. Sign up. Subscribe here. Subscribe everywhere. Partner up with us. Leave us some comments. Let us know who we should visit next. But until next time, we'll catch you down the road at the next exit.
Keep it spooky.
Later.